All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome you to another episode of the Gafford and Brown Show. I'm Mark Gafford.
I'm Robert Brown.
And right now, we're at halftime. The Pacers up 44-40 on the Miami Heat. Game 5 of the series. Looks like a pivotal game 5 in this one. Indiana's really coming out, continuing to do what they were doing in game 4, carrying that momentum. But at least the Miami Heat still showing right now that, hey, they're not going to go down lightly. And, of course, they're not doing that right now.
Yeah, they came out matching the same intensity with Miami because we knew Miami was going to come out, guns blazing. But so far, they've done a great job of matching Miami's pace. And we've seen them, Roy Hibbert, also a great throw along with Paul George. There are two superstar players playing at a high level. So it's great to see as well. Also, David West has come on in the second quarter. So, overall, this looks like another close game between Miami and Indiana, unless Miami comes out from, their halftime break with some adjustments made.
Yeah, definitely. And that's pretty much what's going to have to happen. And it seems like whenever Miami gets into that situation where their backs against the wall, they have really, came back and they've answered the bell every single time. I mean, they haven't, like everybody has been saying, they haven't lost 2 games in a row since January, and pretty much both of the times that they lost previously, they bounced back, and they bounced back in pretty much of a big way. Tonight, of course, it's not going to happen like that. They're not going to have not the blowout runaway win here. But I do expect Eric Spoelstra to come out here, make some adjustments and everything. But I think the one thing really is going to have to turn out here is Dwayne Wade's going to have to play a little bit better right now.
And he will. This is a guy that's still battling injury. He's still trying to get his feel right now. But he's going to find his rhythm. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and once again, we just know that Wade is going to continue to do that. Right now, looking at his stat line, 5 points. He's 1 for 6. He's 1 for 6. Also looking at it right here, but he has gotten to the line. He's the only player from Miami that's gotten to the line tonight with four free throws. So, who knows? He can go inside. Maybe the shots start falling, go inside some more, draw some more fouls, stuff like that. You never know what can happen here. That might get his game going. That could also possibly get him going for the rest of the playoffs and all that too. But really, what has been the one thing that's really stood out the most about this first half?
So far, Paul George and his three-point shooting, he seems to not be rattled. He seems to be finding the stride that he had in game 1 and 2. I'm definitely impressed by his continued endurance. And, this is a guy, the first 2 games, they had the huge task of not only scoring, having to put up at least 20 points, but also defending LeBron James. And we've seen him do a great job of that so far, but we've also seen him, there have been comments about him being tired and whatnot. So tonight, seeing him be able to score points and, get help, it's been great to watch. He has 15 points right now, so he's definitely on pace to have a great game.
And pretty much it is. I mean, like everybody has basically been saying throughout this whole playoffs, and mostly, especially this series here, right now we're seeing the maturation process of Paul George, and Paul George is really looking like he can be possibly one of the rising stars of the league. I mean, he's not there quite yet, of course, but he could be He could be, if not by the end of next season, maybe by the end of in 2 years or something like that. Give him that long because he's really done a nice job. But as you've also said too, he's also has had help. David West with 10 points.
Right.
Roy Hibbert with 14 points.
Right.
That is exactly what the Pacers need to do.
Right.
And that's basically what they've been doing, dominating inside as well.
Yeah, and we're still, George Hill hasn't gone off yet.
Right.
Stevenson, a couple of the role players still haven't stepped up yet. So if they can get contribution from those guys, this game could definitely be out of hand.
Now, the other thing here that we were looking at too about this game, we nearly had ourselves a WWE wrestling match.
Oh yeah, white boy fight.
Well, I've seen a lot of people. They were talking about here. They were actually comparing the Chris Anderson push and the confrontation with Tyler Hansbrough, and they were like, "Well, how come Anderson hasn't got suspended? Well, did not get thrown out of the game?" And I think Chris Broussard was talking about he could, maybe they might review it in an off day. He might get suspended in Game 6. What do you think about that?
No suspension should be made. It was a heat of the moment play. I think it's the playoffs, man. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. We've been counting down the games until these two guys got into it. We knew it was coming.
Right.
Finally happened, and it wasn't even that much of a big deal.
Right.
So I think it's water under the bridge now. Review it. Look at it. Let it be.
It wasn't a scrum.
Especially if Indiana wins this game.
Right. Because if Indiana wins this game and you suspend Birdman, I'm not gonna say here that he's on the point of Bosh, Wade, and James, but the way that Birdman has been playing, he's been a pretty valuable player because he's been actually making his shots and also giving the Heat energy here and there. You take that away, where could they find that from? I mean, that's the other thing too. And even if the Heat do win this game, I wouldn't say suspend them at all. It wasn't like, and this is crazy too. Like if it would have been the 80s and 90s, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now.
I mean, Charles Oakley did that on the regular.
Right. We wouldn't even be talking about this. We wouldn't be like, oh, well, he's going to be, he should be suspended for such and such. I mean, Birdman did not deck Tyler Hansbrough. He didn't give him a right cross. He didn't knock him down. He didn't bloody him up. There wasn't a scrum on the ground. People weren't rolling on the floor and everything like that. It was just pretty much a little bit, hey, man, blah, 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 one of those legitimate type fights and all that stuff. But yet again, nothing major outside of that.
Right. And, I just think, it's a little, I mean, NBA's gotten, people have said it's gotten soft, but if he gets suspended for the next game, the critics are kind of justified.
Yeah. I just don't see that happening and everything like that too. But I guess the biggest beneficiaries continuing about this season, about this whole thing, is pretty much the Spurs right now. I bet you they're probably right now kicking back in their apartments and all that, and just saying, you know what, hey, this does go 7 games or something like that. But I guess we're probably going to talk a little bit about the rust factor, once we get closer to the finals and everything. But I'm pretty sure the Spurs are right now just looking back at it, just scouting and all that stuff. Popovich is probably doing what he's doing and all that stuff too.
Right, and I hope this. I hope the game. Now we called. So far we called the game 6. Heat and 6, but we haven't ruled out it being maybe a 7-game series. But I definitely hope that the series wraps up soon because I'm anxious to get to the finals.
Oh, and I think we all are. And right now, we're probably looking at, I don't know how's the schedule going to be, but I would suspect with a Game 7 being on Monday, they probably push Game 1 of the finals to, I would say, maybe Thursday. And I think if this ends in 6, I would say that, because Game 6 is going to be Saturday, I would suspect that we'll probably see a Game 1 final on maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday, something like that. Right now, we really cannot wait to see what's going to happen here because, it's either we'll get the chance to see the Pacers and Spurs in the finals, where some people, some of the, you know, not probably the hardcore NBA fans are gonna watch, and of course we're gonna watch too. Or are we gonna see the Heat Spurs, what we really been trying to prep for like the last 2, maybe 3 years?
Right. Now, what are your thoughts on LeBron in this game so far? Do you think he's playing at a decent pace, or do you think he needs to take more control?
I think he's playing at a decent pace. He's doing what he can do. He's continuing to do every single thing that he's trying to do. I mean, maybe he could score a little bit more than 11 points right now, but I think that once we get into the second half, he's going to take over and he's gonna score a little bit more like how he always does. So I think LeBron's pretty much at a decent pace right now. It's just everybody else has to step up, and I'm looking at you, Dwayne Wade, and I think Bosh is having a pretty good game, but I'm looking at you, Dwayne Wade. How about you?
I think he's done well so far, and Bosh has stepped up. Let's be fair on D Wade. He's going through some injuries.
Okay.
He's going to get in his stride.
Right.
We usually don't see him break loose until the second half. Fourth quarter. So I think he's going to come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once again, we just know that this is what Wade's done. I mean, Wade's been one of those guys that whenever you think that he's gonna have a bad game, he comes by, he shocks you, he has a very good game, and it carries over. So right now, everybody's trying to compare this to Cleveland. It's not Cleveland Bron, I don't think, because he still has a little bit more help and everything. But I mean, Wade can turn it on anytime, any point in time, and just like that, and pretty much it gets everybody to come right back and just say, well, hey, Wade's gonna be okay and all that, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
Now, here's another thing here, what had happened actually before the game, and I guess we're in the process of talking about flopping. And right now, everybody was talking about LeBron James, David West, and Lance Stevenson were each fined for $5,000 committed for their flops and everything. Has flopping really gotten out of hand right now?
I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Granted, it happens, it happens in every NBA game, I'll say, but it's not as bad as traveling, which doesn't get called regularly. We were shocked the other night when Dwayne Wade got called for it. Fouls. It's just one of those things that happens in the game of basketball. It's going to happen.
And yeah, I mean, because sometimes if you're trying to get somebody fouled out, I mean, why not exaggerate it here and there a little bit? I mean, if I've tried to, if I know somebody that's guarding me that has 5 fouls, I might be trying to milk it so the refs could just put him out of the game on a bush play like that. But then again, I mean, it's kind of like the games. It's kind of like gamesmanship and everything like that. And some flops are egregious, like the one that Tony Allen had in Game 2.
He should have gotten the Oscar for that.
But then other times, flopping, you can kind of defend it a little bit though, too, where it really doesn't look as egregious as anything. And the other thing is this too. I mean, I looked at this earlier today. I think I saw this on the score. That they were talking about LeBron. If you think he's sweating pretty much over $5,000, well, look at this receipt I'm showing you right here, Rob. And let's look at the tax.
Is that dinner? Man, is that for the whole team?
I think that's a club.
That's a club for that had to be the whole team.
Yeah, I think so.
Man.
Yeah, and for those of y'all that hadn't seen it and everything, the guy paid $12,000, well, almost $13,000 in taxes for this $171,000 meal, or rendezvous or lounge check for the club or anything else like that. So if you think he's sweating over $5,000, come on, now he's not sweating over $5,000.
That's one endorsement check right there.
Nike's probably got that. If at all anything. But yeah, it just continues to be like I don't know. Now we also got things here too, like other things that are going on in this whole thing. Looking at this news here, Pacers are saying Shane Battier's a 30 player, and then you also got Stan Van Gundy saying that the Indiana Pacers would pick Dwight Howard over Roy Hibbert. Now your thoughts about that one?
Dwight Howard or Roy Hibbert?
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Less headache, more skilled guy. I mean, granted, Dwight Howard he's a bigger name, you know, more athletic, but I'm not taking him over Roy Hibbert. And it's not just because Hibbert's in the playoff, still playing right now. It's just because Roy Hibbert's a low-profile guy that does his job. You saw last year there wasn't a big, hoopla over what team he was going to.
Mm-hmm.
He went to a couple other teams and re-signed with Indiana. Then,
And you also got the bigger upside, and you also got bigger size and all that stuff too. Which Hibbert is 7'2", and the White's 6'11", which that kind of has a lot to do with it as well. And like you said, the guy's a little bit lower profile. Indiana, and actually, and if, who knows what would have happened if Indiana would have a player like the White and all of that. Would the White really want to, be there and everything, and how much money we command and everything and stuff like that? And thank goodness we don't have to speculate that, because, well, and as we're talking about Roy Hibbert, here he comes with a putback right now too. No. I think Stan Van Gundy's trying to make amends for the Dwight Howard right now, pretty much just because he coached him and all that stuff.
Right.
And looking at this, looking at the status right now, yeah.
But D Wade with an attempt at the rim, now he's going to the line.
And see, that's once again what we were just talking about. If he could turn this back on, we will see him doing pretty well. It's 46-40 right now, with a chance for him to go for 2 more free throws. Right now, here's the first one. People talking about Dwayne Wade's shoes. No, the people talking about LeBron's shoes. My bad. And here we go with the second one. And he misses that one. So 46-41. But that's one of those things right there that Dwayne Wade is going to have to do in order to try to get things going and all that stuff too. Now, outside of everything that's the two teams that are playing right now, we actually just saw from Adrian Wojnarowski that the Clippers are actually interested in getting Jeff Van Gundy as the head coach.
Right. And, Jeff Van Gundy, Hollins from Memphis, Nate McMillan, a lot of names be thrown around. They basically want to make Chris Paul happy and keep those guys together, him, Blake, and a couple others. But yeah, I would like to see Jeff Van Gundy back in the league, but I don't know. The Clippers. I have to see. I have to take the wait and see approach. What about you?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I was thinking that maybe the Clippers would have went after another Van Gundy, and his name is Stan. But the Clippers are really trying to shed that moniker of them being very cheap and trying to have these coaches and everything like that. So while it might give them a pretty interesting coach, the other question is this: would it be able for them to possibly keep Chris Paul, or would it also be able for them to keep their nucleus of players like Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan in a few years?
I think DeAndre Jordan is pretty much trade bait. I would say the nucleus right now would be Blake, Chris, And those two guys right now, the main priority, I think, Blake and Chris. Everybody else is a little expendable. I know Bledsoe's probably gonna be trade bait.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of upside, and a lot of teams are interested. A lot of the guys are older. You know, Lamar Odom, Grant Hill, Chauncey Billups, Matt Barnes, a couple older guys. So I think they might want to get younger. So we might not see some of that team back next year. But they're definitely in the right direction in terms of getting a new coach and somebody that guys would actually respect.
Yeah, because we've looked at most of the Clippers games over the past couple of years, and it looked like Miami's really coming right back here as Haslam makes a play, and Miami's now up by 1, prompting the Pacers to get a timeout. Oh my gosh. Haslam? Really? Anyway, but looking at the Clippers right now, it's just like we're looking at the let's look at the team by itself right here and looking at what their contract situation is going to be here. They're going to have a pretty interesting offseason for their own rights. Now, a lot of people are actually counting out Chris Paul for coming back with it. But let's just go ahead and say Chris Paul does come back. All right. You got DeAndre Jordan with $10 million under the cap. We're thinking counting against the cap. We're thinking he's pretty much going to be gone. If they can find a partner to trade him away, that they got that. LeVar Odom is an unrestricted free agent. I don't think he's coming back, right? No. Chauncey Billups is also an unrestricted free agent as well. And I would think that if Chris Paul doesn't sign back with them, maybe they try to make amends and keep Chauncey. But then again, would you also say, would you also let Chauncey go and let Bledsoe stay, or what? In that case,
I think you give Chauncey another year because of what he can bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And Bledsoe, while he's a great young guy and he has a lot of upside, you trade him and see what you can get.
Right.
See what pieces you can get.
Because right now, if the Clippers and I don't think they would be too much of a bad team if they lost Chris Paul because of the experience that they've gotten. They probably would not be I think they would probably be fighting for like the 7th or 8th seed.
Maybe.
I mean, and that I wouldn't say 4th seed material, and I wouldn't dare say that they're pretty much going to compete for that for that Pacific Division if they don't get Chris Paul back. But this could still be kind of in a way a team that could be fighting for those last few spots in the playoffs. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think, but I mean. Minnesota might, if Kevin Love is healthy and they make a few moves in the offseason, they're another team that can compete. Blazers. Man, I just don't think you take that chance of losing Chris Paul.
Yeah.
You throw everything at him and hope you can get him back.
Definitely. I still just think I have the sneaky suspicion right now that the Clippers are always going to find a way to basically clipper this whole thing up, and it's not going to happen that way. So we'll see what's going to happen here, and pretty much that's going to be the basic case about this. We shall see. So right now, before we get ahead, take ourselves a little break. The Miami Heat are up 47-46. Game is back into progress with 9:17 left. Actually, Indiana just took that 1-point lead again with David West going inside. So, just going to go ahead and take ourselves a 30-second commercial break, and then we're going to find out what else is going on in the sports world today. And we'll be right back with the Gafford and Brown Show. All right, we're right back with the Gafford and Brown Show, and just as we just got back on the air, here comes LeBron again, and he puts Miami up by 1 point. Right now, what else is going on in the sports world right now? is pretty much. I was watching hockey last night.
I saw, and it was a great game from what I followed. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see it,
Mm-hmm.
but great game, and man, you gotta give it to the Blackhawks.
I really do, because I was thinking, I kind of in a way I wanted to pull for Detroit because I really wanted to get our boy Mr. ESPN on the air. I really wanted him to get on the air and talk for him to talk about the whole thing. But it was a good game. It was pretty much everything that you could ask for in a game 7. Tie game, went to overtime. You did have a little bit of the calls that went against Chicago's way. People were miffed about that, and people were wondering, well, is this going to be the call that actually does the Blackhawks in? But it turned out the Blackhawks, they won that one. They get the chance to play against the LA Kings. And here's the crazy thing about this Final Four in the Stanley that's left in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The last 4 teams that are in right now, Blackhawks, Kings in the West, and Bruins and Penguins in the East, are the last 4 teams that have won the Stanley Cup Finals.
Interesting.
Which is very good, and I think it kind of bodes well a little bit for the game though too, because you probably got the same teams that are right there amongst the top and everything.
Right. Now, who is your pick right now to make it to the title game?
If I gotta go, I'm pretty much gonna go ahead and say I think the Penguins are gonna make it out of the East. Granted, I'm pretty much gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this with a disclaimer. I have not watched much hockey this season. I really think the Penguins are gonna do it, because looks like Sidney Crosby is playing pretty well. I mean, they got him around as well. In the West, I'm probably gonna go ahead and say Chicago. I can't get that out of my mind about that good start that they had this season, where they were like, I think they didn't lose I think they won. They were they started off their first 23 games with at least a point, like either an overtime loss or a win, and they didn't lose a game in regulation. So I can't really get that out of my mind. How about you?
I'm gonna have to go the same with you. I just feel like that's probably the way it's gonna go. However, I'm excited to see. I'm actually gonna watch this year's Stanley Cup, because I kind of got drawn into it last year. Watched a lot of hockey, especially during the lockout, and now I feel I'm not gonna say I'm a diehard fan.
Right.
Ooh, huge block by Roy Hibbert, but I'm not a diehard fan.
And huge block by LeBron James.
But yeah, I'm not diehard. Oh, now we're getting some emotions.
Hey, I think this is a legitimate fight right here. So for those of y'all that just hadn't seen it, looks like we got ourselves David West and Udonis Haslem. They're basically continuing to jaw at each other and it's getting a little testy right now. You got Roy Hibbert with the good defense. Then you got LeBron James out here with even more impressive defense here. And you got David West and Udonis Haslem going at it with each other. These are 2 people right now that I would definitely not want to pick a fight against, period.
At all.
It kind of still continues to make us really want this series to go 7, because I'm really interested to see what else is going to happen if this continues.
Man, that got chippy real fast.
It really did. It really did. Man, man, that just kind of stopped. That just kind of stopped everything in the whole thing right here for about this. But yeah, back to what we were saying. Back to what we were saying. Uh, I'm gonna get a chance to watch this. I'm gonna get a chance to watch this whole this Stanley Cup Finals this year too. I think we're not gonna have it interfering a little bit with the finals, and I think normally it doesn't interfere with the finals. But I think I want to go ahead and say that the Stanley Cup Finals are probably going to happen like a week after the NBA Finals.
Right.
So we pretty much. Most of the casual fans, they might give it a chance here and stuff. We might get drawn to it and stuff. I really can't wait to see what's going to happen, though. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I just would love to see one of these days maybe a Canadian team come right back, because it's been a good while since a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. And also, I kind of want to see the Dallas Stars, get right back at it, because I guess they're the closest team to any team here, and there's kind of a sense of entitlement here. So, you got that right there. Now, also going along with the sports world right now, people are talking about Tiger Woods. This is not a major tournament right now. I think this is the Memorial Tournament. This is a tournament that Tiger has had some success in, but right now he is 6 shots back. And all, cause of concern or not?
I wouldn't say yet, not yet. I think is people quick to pull the panic button on Tiger, because it's been a while since we've seen him dominate like that. But I'm going to take the wait and see approach. What about you?
Same here. Like, we know the Tiger does pretty well in this tournament, but once again, I think as everybody else has said, Tiger really doesn't play for the small tournaments. He plays for the majors. And that's basically his measuring stick right there. So we really want to see Tiger Woods get right back into winning majors, because, let's face it, win, lose, or draw, Tiger Woods is a huge draw of golf. And, whether like I said, if he's not in there, people are not going to watch. If he's not in contention, people are not going to watch. But if he's in contention, every single eye is pretty much on the set right there. And it's been that same way for the last 15 years.
Right.
So, I wouldn't say it's a cause for concern right now. We really want to see him try to get some momentum going. But like we said, golf is kind of a fickle game right here, where one week you could be on, next week you could be off. So it's just one of those things, I guess. Let's see here. Right now, we're also back into some more of the games right now. 53-53 with 5:15 left in the third quarter. Once again, the inside players for the Pacers continue to do work. David West with 12, Paul George with 17, Roy Hibbert with 18. They're doing everything that they possibly can and stopping the Heat's kind of weakness a little bit here in the paint. LeBron's got 19 points, but in a way he's gonna need a little bit more help. But he's kind of having a little bit more balanced scoring here and there.
Right.
So we're still going to continue to see what's going to happen here. The winner of the rebound matchup right now are the Pacers. Turnover battle right now, though, the Heat with 7 and the Pacers with 11. So, I think this is going to continue to be a game.
Buckets. Chalmers with the 3.
And there goes Mario Chalmers once again. And he puts the Miami Heat up by 3. And I think another thing that we're going to look at, too, is also the foul totals right here, especially since we're in Miami. 7 fouls for Miami, but 14 fouls for Indiana. And that might tell us a little bit, too, what's going to happen in the later part of the game here. So let's see some more things that are going on around here right now, and actually, many people are talking about here. Continue to talk about RG3 trying to come right back from his ACL injury and all that. You think he'll be back in time by game 1?
I think he might, but honestly, if I were Redskins, I wouldn't. I would be cautious about it.
Mm-hmm.
You would hate to see your investment, the franchise, go down in one play. I definitely hope he. Well, we know he's not going to play preseason, but I just hope they take the wait and see approach. And Cousins is a solid backup. We've seen him win games in the regular season, so I think they should definitely not rush him.
Not at all. Like we said, once again, this is going to be his second season here. He is your franchise player. As much as you really want him to be out there, putting him out there whenever he's not ready and he could have the same problems and stuff, that could be a setback to your franchise here. This is a guy that's pretty much is going to last at least 10 to 15 years, and you really would love to try to keep him as such. And especially with the game, with the way that it is right now, it's more of a quarterback's game than anything. He just brings that dynamic, and you kind of got to treat this with a little bit with like kid gloves right here. Also, an ACL injury is nothing to really sneeze at this too.
Right.
No matter how easy Adrian Peterson made it look.
Yeah, who by the way isn't human. There's that.
There is that too. And like I think we had said this before with Clarence, like if you could just imagine him basically being 9 yards away from the record, coming off of an ACL injury just like that. Imagine him pretty much being out there in full strength next season, or close to full strength next season. I would say pretty much if I was Eric Dickerson, I would be a little bit worried about my record.
Right.
I would be a little bit worried about my record. Also, I think a lot of people were also talking about injury problems up there in New England too, with Rob Gronkowski. I think this time it wasn't his forearm surgery that he had four different forearm surgeries, but now he has back surgery. You think he's going to be ready for game 1? And if not, how bad does this hurt the Patriots?
I think the Patriots would do well, but I think they still have enough pieces there to do well. But in long term, it would be a problem, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I think short term, they still get off to a hot start. I mean, granted, because look at the division. You have Buffalo rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Jets rebuilding, but you still have a pretty solid Miami team, and that's really their own competition. So I think they would be fine. What about you?
Yeah, they'll be all right. They're definitely gonna be all right. They're still the kings of that division, and I can't see anything that's going to make me think otherwise here. The Jets, that big dysfunction of a family that they got there, no, they can't. I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think they're going to stop the Patriots. The Bills, they're the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So they're not going to stop them. The only team that really gets me a little bit that has some interest right here is pretty much like you said, Miami. And Miami wasn't a 7. I think how many games they won last year? 7 games, 8 games.
Oh, yeah, 7 or 8, I believe.
One of those. I think if at all anything, they'll probably bump themselves up to about 9, 8 or 9. Who knows? Maybe 10. But I still don't think that's enough to overtake the Patriots in that division. I'd say if Miami's going to win 9 or 10, between 8, 9, and 10, I'd still say probably New England's probably going to win like 11 or 12.
Right.
because we know how they are and everything. They're still Miami, New England is still the kings of that division, so I don't think they'll be all right. I don't think they'll have any trouble. Also, you got to look at it like this: you got Aaron Hernandez, who is a very good tight end,
solid backup. A guy who can start on any other team.
right? And you got a ragtag bunch of wide receivers that it always seems like Tom Brady could make any receiver, he can make any receiver into a very good receiver. You also got Danny Amendola, who they got from the Rams after Wes Welker went to your Broncos, who is also a pretty good slot receiver here and there. And it's going to also be interesting to see what can Brady do with him. So yeah, I think the Patriots are going to be all right in this case. Here, depending on whenever he's going to come back out there. One thing they just got to do, they need to fix their defense.
Yeah, their defense has been a major issue for the last. Well, since the year they went to the Super Bowl, it's been when they played the Giants again, it's been an issue, and it's something that I think they're going to fix with time.
Right.
When you got an offense like that with Brady, they can keep you in games. Mm-hmm. So I think they've gotten a little bit too comfortable with that.
Yeah, and it's pretty much that's kind of, and as they always say, offense sells tickets, but defense does win championships, and maybe that also has a kind of a problem here right there, because we remember when they were winning Super Bowls, three Super Bowls out of the past 4 years. They did it with a decent offense, but then they also had that defense to back things up.
Right.
But as the years have gone past, they have not won a Super Bowl since the one in Jacksonville against the Eagles. They made it to 2 Super Bowls, granted, but again, you don't kind of have the defense to really back things up.
Right.
As Bart Scott has said, they couldn't stop a nosebleed against that series and can't wait and all that. That kind of has a little bit of a problem right there for you, too. And they got to find the right mix of defensive players here and there, too.
Right.
So that's going to be one of those things as well. Also funny that we did mention the Redskins. A lot of people are kind of want the Redskins to be a little bit more politically correct, and people want them to actually change their name.
Never going to happen. Dan Snyder's already said it's not going to happen. It's unfortunate. Man, it is kind of racist.
Yes.
It's not going to change. It's been that too long. You still have the Seminoles in college football. Still have the Cleveland Indians. You still have the Atlanta Braves. It's just not going to happen. It's unfortunate, but
right.
It's just something that's been on too long that you unfortunately can't stop now.
Exactly. Like if let's say they had their names. They had their name. Let's say they were an expansion team in 2013. Nobody would dare, think of that name right now. They probably would be named something else. Washington has been around for like 70. I think they've been around for like 75 years. They started in Boston. They moved to D.C. D.C. has really adopted that name for their football team. Some people call them the Skins just to avoid that blatant racism, but then some people just consider them just Washington and all that stuff. It's not going to change. When you have it entrenched with a team and all that, it's not going to change. I want to go ahead and say that's probably one of the big reasons why they and the Dallas Cowboys were rivaling, because
basically, yeah,
Cowboys and Indians. Let's just be real about that.
Right.
That's part of the reason. Despite, given that, and also given the, the bloodbath of the games that they both have had against each other, yes, it's kind of a fitting purpose right there that they're even rivals at this point. But they're not going to get rid of that name at all. Like, if at all anything, they would probably try to phase out the logo, but I can't even see that happening.
Yeah, me either.
They're probably not going to do what like the Cleveland Indians did, and they're starting to phase out the little Chief Wahoo. There's that logo, and they're starting to try to go out with a block C and everything. and everything. Where we still see the Indians still kind of have that logo here and there, but it's still kind of one of those things right there. And honestly, this is kind of also a point where and funny that you also mentioned here about the college teams doing that. Like, I can remember it as plain as day. I think it was 2006 when they cracked down on everybody using the imagery and using the names and all that stuff. And I think the teams that had the big money and all that stuff, like Florida State and Illinois, and they were backed by these different players and backed by the different communities and tribes and all that. I think that was probably part of the reason why they were able to keep that. Like, Florida State, what you think of when you think about Florida State? The Seminoles, right?
Right.
You can't think of anything else if they changed their name to like the Florida State, let's say, Orange. It would be very different.
Right.
Illinois, even though they phased out the I think they had a mascot that was also an Indian as well, a Native American as well. Their tribe, the Fighting Illini, are basically entrenched with that too, because it was based out of Illinois. You change their name to something else that Illinois is the Illinois Fighting Lincolns or something like that. It would be a little bit different.
Right.
I guess it's kind of, again, the haves and the have-nots, and that's probably the reason why they're Illinois, Florida State, and ULM was able not to keep their name, and we became the Warhawks instead of becoming the Indians, and all that stuff. Even though many people kind of wish that we were still the same thing, but especially if one thing is really entrenched with the program for a long time and all that stuff, I don't think it's gonna go away. No, I really don't think so. Like, I do understand the fact that that a lot of people are going to be politically correct about everything, but there's also going to be a little bit of something right there too. That's if you kind of have a name that's entrenched with you around, you kind of got to make a little bit of sense about that though too. Hate to say it.
Right.
Hate to say it. And I mean, that's in no ways being offensive or anything else like that. But I mean, it's just keeping it real about that. So we're just gonna go ahead and take ourselves another 30-second break. And right now, but before then, Miami, they are on a very good run. Udonis Haslam is out here with 14 points, 10 points in this quarter. Man, Miami's really turned up the heat, no pun intended.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and take ourselves another 30-second break right here. Talk to us a little bit more about the game. We'll probably be around for a little bit of the fourth quarter and all that. So this is the Gafford and Brown Show. All right, we're right back with the Gafford and Brown Show, and right now, Miami is up 67-56 with just seconds left to go in the third quarter. We're basically going to continue. We won't talk about everything else. And how did LeBron James make that? I don't even know. Man, it just looks like 70-56 right now. Yeah, it's just crazy right here. Yes, this is just very crazy right now, and I think we're at the end of the third quarter. According to TNT, I don't think so. We still got a few seconds left to go in this quarter, I think. Braun out here posing.
Now, do you give how much? What chances do you give Indiana coming back in this game, or coming back?
Whew, they're really gonna have to do. They're really gonna have to turn it up on the offensive end, and I don't think they have the firepower to go out there and do that. So I pretty much would set those chances between maybe 10 to 20. How about you?
About to say.
Yeah, it's been kind of real for you on this one, Indiana, but you kind of want to go ahead and probably just say right now that you cannot, do all that here. So I really think that it's pretty much going to be